Krishna Vikirya Parayopatita Shrumukya
Krishna Vikirya Parayopatita Shrumukya
Yastatsriyo Krita Teja Vimukta Teja
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 Panyastava Dhimaka Mahapitega Svagishachara Kavaram Vidavaya Savaya Krishna Vikirya Parayopatita Shrumukya Yastatsriyo Krita Desha Vimukta Kesha Panyastava Dhimaka Krita Mahapitega Svagishachara Kavaram Vidavaya Savaya Krishna Vikirya Parayopatita Shrumukya Yastatsriyo Krita Kesha Vimukta Kesha Panyastava Dhimaka Krita Mahapitega Svagishachara Kavaram Vidavaya Savaya Krishna Vikirya Parayopatita Shrumukya Yastatsriyo Krita Desha Vimukta Kesha Panya of the white Kava your Harimaka during the great sacrificial ceremony. Lifta rest Mahabhisheka great sanctified Lagishka thus Lord Charu beautiful Davaram lustered hair Hittavad by the miscreants Sapaya in the great assembly Krishna being caught Vikirya being loosened Parayo on the feet Patita Ashukya of the one who fell down with tears in the eye Ya he got there Striya wives Akrita became Hateisha bereft of husband Vimukta Kesha loosened hair Panyastave Dhimaka Krita Mahapitega Svagishachara Kavaram Vidavaya Savaya Krishna Vikirya Parayopatita Shrumukya Yastatsriyo Krita Desha Vimukta Kesha. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace by It was he only who loosened the hair of all the wives of the miscreants, who dared open the closure of your queen's hair, who dared open the cluster of your queen's hair, which had been nicely dressed and sanctified for the great righteously sacrificial ceremony. At that time she fell down at the feet of Lord Krishna with tears in her eyes. It was he only who loosened the hair of all wives of the miscreants, who dared open the cluster of your queen's hair, which had been nicely dressed and sanctified for the But when she was lost in a bed, Dushishan touched her glorified hair to console her. Draupadi then fell down at the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, and Lord Krishna decided that all the wives of Dushishan and company should have their hair loosened as a result of the battle of Kurukshetra. Thus, after the battle of Kurukshetra, after all the sons and grandsons of Dhritarashtra died in battle, all the wives of the family were obliged to loosen their hair as widows. In other words, all the wives of the Kuru family became widows because of Dushishan's insulting a great devotee of the Lord. The Lord can tolerate insults upon himself like any miscreant, because the Father tolerates even insults from his Son, but he never tolerates insults upon his devotees. By insulting a great soul, one has to forego all the results by his act and benedictions also. Om Gyananandasya Gyananandashalakaya Chakshuchunanitamena Tasmai Shigurave Namah. So even those things that people are hoping and aiming for in their pursuits in the world, if they come to offend the dearmost devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they lose that, all that they've come to acquire as pious activities that would in the future benefit them otherwise for them to even have a better birth. And so, see, this one act by Dushishan is being described as, in effect, being the whole cause for the Satra. And Mother Draupadi being brought to that place where she was in the assembly of all those who should be the most admirable of all society, most respected. This was the Kshatriya class of should be gentlemen whose maturity would have brought them to a state that would bring them to a position of authorized governance. But by their action and deed, they were revealing themselves unauthorized and unqualified to hold kind of position. When a man is controlled by lust, he loses the ability to be able to discern properly with administrative justice and with full knowledge. Those who are holding positions that they are not authorized to hold are accumulating more karma because those positions, those higher positions of authority in government, people are becoming responsible by their acts for many, sometimes hundreds, if not thousands, and in this day and age, even millions of what people will be experiencing in their futures. It's like wars are being made by leaders of nations, which causes thousands of young people to be put in the front lines to dedicate their lives to the cause of their leader. And in this day and age, we have, through the systems of government have been established the last few hundred years, since there has been no emperor in the world. It's all this fighting is going on amongst people who are themselves members of the same planet, having the same planet. in the forms of imperfections in our productions of food, imperfections of our practices of medicine, imperfections in our administration of justice and government. And these imperfections, when allowed to accumulate year after year after year, the same way pious activities will accumulate, imperfections unattended to, if they are immediately tended to, they don't get out of hand. But what has happened in society now over hundreds and hundreds of years, what is believed to have been normal and taken for normal, the administrative means of representing people and having justice enacted in a system that is currently non-functional, not functioning the way human beings are supposed to be able to function in a united way. Entire earth is one family, one body, and it's supposed to be one people, under one Father of all. Because one group has a name for him, one group says he doesn't exist, another group says no, his name is something else. Everybody's fighting. They're fighting over a principle that for the most part, when it is in fact the rulers' differences in the rulers, when the working class are out there fighting the wars, some of them learn both sides are there for the same reason. Fighting for the cause of their leader, even though they don't have any say-so over the relationships between countries. But for the most part, people that are taking part in wars are the people who would otherwise be taking part in providing food for their family, putting shelter over their families, which they also have to do in this case. But without a father being home to help raise family, then this weakens back at home what structure there is. Many times, men will come home and find that they've lost their family, they've lost their wives, but then separated so long they can't bear separation. Ultimately, our dissatisfaction with this world is the fact that we are in separation from the Supreme, from whose dwelling perfection is. And as we develop in our lives the ideals we have in our minds of what perfection is, we need to be finding ways to be able to apply the knowledge we have gained through our lives to society in order for society to be better off, so to speak, enhanced, enlightened, educated, uplifted, brought to a better understanding of right and wrong. I'm realizing with this Bhagavatam being described by Srila Prabhupada as being the law books for the next 10,000 years. Here we have a verse revealing by a culture that is believed by most people to be a patriarchal patriarchal culture, meaning that it's mostly controlled by men's ideas, men's activities in government, men's control and men's say-so. This is what the ancient scriptures lead a lot of people to believe. But here in this verse, we are seeing brought out that an act which in this day and age is thought of as is something that people do in passing. Dushishan grabbed Draupadi's hair, grabbed her hair, and by that act, it was considered like Krishna. See, without knowing, everything is being done by Krishna's standards. Everybody is going about their life, living their lives as if they know right from wrong. Thought and job and body and what is right. But there are certain acts in the mind of God, in the mind of Krishna, which the suggestive name of the Hare Krishna movement, the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, the suggestion in the name is that we have to change the way we think. We have to develop a way of thinking that is completely removed from, in order to free those who are controlled by the modes of material energy. And unless we are ourselves removed from those modes of material energy, we have no means of being able to liberate those who are themselves in that body. And that's where the legal system is failing. Around the world, they're all failing. There's a system of punishment in place, but there's no system to prevent the crimes from happening to begin with, which has to take place in the consciousness of the youngest. Because as they learn from childhood, then it will enable them to grow up constantly free from the resultant effects of karma. Because by learning the laws of karma, then they live free from those laws. By engaging in the spiritual energy. And that spiritual energy is that which a person can engage in by surrendering to a person who is liberated. Surrendering to a soul who has, by being on the path of liberation, found himself liberated from the effects of birth, death, old age, and disease. Because by communion with the Supreme Person who has control and who has himself established all these laws, and who is presently giving us access to full knowledge of these laws, then by putting into our minds and our consciousness by constant study of these teachings, the desire for entertainment is fulfilled. The desire for recreation. When we take this singing and dancing, when we put aside all of our ideas and beliefs formed by that which we have been conditioned by in society, think of what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. And we go by the standard established by the Supreme Lord, whose most recent incarnation is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who says that the Sankirtan movement, which is the public, chanting in public, going out into the streets of the general public, and with love in our hearts, bringing these holy, sacred names of Krishna, so that everyone can know the force and the power of them to free us and lift us up from the problems that we are suffering from in this material world, to the realization of the cause of our suffering being that we are, by motivation of desire, we create with our consciousness, with our mind, that which we have access to. By those desires we find some satisfaction from the manipulation of the material energy. We put ourselves under the control of the material energy's laws. So, there's laws of the material energy, and there's laws of the spiritual energy. We have 10 laws that we keep and we recite in our hearts every morning. 10 offenses against the holy name. So when a person becomes transcendental to the laws of man, by following the laws of God, automatically those laws of man that are reasonably made by sound reasoning of elevated souls in society, those laws are automatic. The problem, in some cases, is that when the leaders have no knowledge whatsoever, and they try to stop that force. We see in the life of Lord Chaitanya, Kankazi, as a Muslim ruler, having not the knowledge of God, bringing his name to this world for the liberation of humanity. And without that knowledge, then people take a look at what we're doing without understanding and misjudge, ultimately, the effects desired by the Supreme Person to be brought about by the singing of his name. He wants everyone to be happy. He wants everyone to know the freedom and liberty from the bondage that we have brought ourselves under and allowed ourselves to be controlled by forces of material energy. This conditioning we have gotten from day one as babies in the womb. We are conditioned to the kind of things we like to taste, the kind of things we like to see, the kind of things we like to hear. All these are the senses of the body that we are brought up to believe that we are living to satisfy. This is our desire. We are positioning ourselves in the world to be able to, the fullest extent, experience the pleasures of the senses of the physical body, eating, sleeping, mating, defending. And all the animal kingdom is doing the same thing. Eating, sleeping, mating, defending. The birds, the bees, the elephants, the deer, they're all doing the same activity. So what separates human beings from the animal is the consciousness of the Supreme and the laws that exist for life to progress on the planet in a way for all living entities to get along with one another and perform activities that bring forth glorious experience, wealth, prosperity, well-being, health, for everyone. And the way to do this is by changing the way we think about others, the way we think about ourselves, the way we think about the purpose of life, the way we think about our contribution to the world, and what responsibility we have with what talents we do develop in this world, in how to develop talents related to that which gives the living entity supreme pleasure. When we're out there singing and dancing, some people are out there playing games, playing football, playing baseball, basketball, hockey, all these things. But in comparison, the physical activity is there for the benefit of the well-being of the physical body. The camaraderie is there. We've got one another as friends. the audience is yelling and screaming, and cheering about a score being made, it is a totally different result of that which the souls engaged in this sanctified movement are happy about. We're happy about the eternal truth that has set us free from the bondage of birth, death, old age, and disease, and given us a vision to see what life should be like on this glorious planet, what this planet should be, how glorious this planet should be. And with a hope for the future of mankind, we take upon us this prayer, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oh, glorious energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is all loving, all powerful, all giving mankind that which mankind needs most. Humankind needs most. Love of God, love for the things that bring mankind to his highest experience. That is the presence of God. That is what makes life worth living. Because at every moment it's an increasing pleasure experience that has no comparison with any involvement we have had with the material energy that brought us into bondage. Because the more we develop these patterns in our minds as being all that there is for us to do, eating, sleeping, mating, defending, then the powers that be are made such that our desires become fulfilled. And they get fulfilled with us having to pay the debt owed for us to experience, just like when you walk into a store. In order for you to take from the store anything you call it yours, you have to prove to the person who has it in their possession now that you did some labor in this world to gain the possession. Or you did something beneficial for the people of the planet that now enables you to gain use of something that the planet itself has produced. This is the exchange going on we call sale. But where does the earth get the benefit from in these exchanges we have with one another? And what to speak of, we take everything from the earth as though it's ours to take. And in most cases, unless a person is on a spiritual path, there's no recognition whatsoever of that being given to us as a privilege. No, it's a right. Human beings thinking of all these acts that they're engaging in as their right. Have a right to own earth, have a right to say whatever they want, have a right to do whatever they want, believe it. But in reality, all these things we are calling quote unquote rights, if they are not taken part in with proper guidance, they will lead us right into the destruction of our own lives and right back into the same situation we are in right now. Because it is that desire for those things that has brought us into the situation we are in, subject to death. We have to remember, this is not a playhouse. This is not a place of enjoyment, which we are trying to make it. And in so doing, it brings forgetfulness. We don't want to remember why we're here, because we're here because we're guilty. We're guilty of something so offensive in the eyes of God that it requires us to experience a temporary situation for a very short, what seems to us to be a long period of time. 100 years seems like a long time. I'm on my 76th, and still, in my mind, it doesn't seem as though there should be any more or less days in front of me than there was the day I was born. Why? If I have purpose, if I have reason for being, then why death? If God is in control of everything, and He gives me purpose for reason, for living, reason for living, purpose for being, then why death? Death is because I have been guilty. Now, God Himself, supreme person. And we name Him with so many names, and Vedas reveal He is worthy of so many, because He has so many superior qualities to that which we as individuals are able to even come to the level of in our lives. But He has a favorite name, Krishna. That means He's all in that. And so, rather than taking for granted that perspective being given by followers of other faiths, other beliefs than what I am having myself, I have to seek out myself. If every civilization in the world that we have record of ever existing has an account of a supreme being who is in absolute control of absolute everything. Every civilization has an account of a supreme power. So it stands to reason that as human beings, reasoning with our minds, that if there is such a force, if there is such a person, it stands within reason that I should at least make some effort to find out whether this is true or not. And my point in this presentation is that you, everyone who hears this, should go to every length they can to find who is the source of all truth, who is the source of life that we are experiencing, who is the source of this universe that we are living within. And is there anything beyond that? And if there is such a person, such a being can answer any question I have. Such a person is all-knowing. And our claim is that, yes, there is such a person who is all-knowing and can answer every question any human being can formulate in the limited minds they have been using within this material atmosphere we've been locked into. And so by proof of that is that as we do take up this chanting, our consciousness becomes cleared away to that space where we're able to receive more clear understanding of everything in our life, purpose of our lives, and the need we have to become complete human beings, become perfected in all of our efforts. And then by tasting that we get from the chanting, then we can know. So I can tell you how wonderful a mango tastes side of it is. But until you actually yourself take the tasting to your own tongue, you will not actually know it and realize. So I can only speak that which to you will become gathered. But as you apply it, then it becomes applied now. Experience. This is what experience is. Applied now. So we read what can be experienced, and then by doing what we read about, it tells us how to get the experience we're looking for. That's what this chanting does. This chanting enables us to be able to develop or control the mind, thereby the mind being free to be able to receive higher experience consciousness. Because Krishna consciousness is the highest consciousness there is. And so we can put many labels on things we need to do with the mind. Purify it, cleanse it, sanctify it. But ultimately, the force that is giving us the ability to experience what we want from all these religious activities that we engage in is the experience is consciousness. And consciousness is coming from the one who is sharing this body with us, who is the one who is the source of the knowledge we're receiving about how we conduct ourselves in these physical bodies to get these highest experiences of love that are available to all those who will seek to experience the divine presence of love itself. Krishna is love itself. So his presence brings with it everything that is contained in love. But now, and it brings to mind a statement in the Bible. Love of money is the root of all evil. And what people are doing is, they say that what they are producing is one thing, but then they produce something totally different. And so, with that, that would normally be, that which would normally be of a healing nature, has no healing quality whatsoever. So it's the same way with our medicine. The whole medical society was originally set up by the Supreme Person as a means for human beings who don't know the path, who get off the path from time to time because of lustful desire for this days, that days, whatever, lack of knowledge. And when we get out of balance, our bodies get out of balance, sometimes we don't eat right, sometimes we're put in a circumstance where we can't eat. Or we're losing this, we're lacking that, we're missing this. And so Krishna has set up within nature a means for man's body to be restored to health by following certain regulatory principles. And to keep us within health, he also gives us a diet directed by himself. And if we follow those precepts as guided and directed by his servants, which is Mother Draupadi, quality here brought out by Krishna as that which was wise. There were many women probably on the planet being made ashamed by other men, but none brought out to the extent that Mother Draupadi was, because of how close she is to Krishna. And that love for Krishna is what moved Krishna to let her sorry and come home. And nobody, because of her chasteness, the chasteness of her heart, the love in her heart for Krishna's principle and his love. This is also included in her prayers. So anybody that takes to this process of Krishna consciousness, who has already formulated in their experience of life, process for praying, process for making requests to God, process for sharing experiences with people, who will come by applying these precepts of Krishna consciousness, eating only sanctified holy foods. Our consciousness becomes so clean and pure that our experience of life becomes complete and satisfying. We just want to give it to everyone. We want everyone to have what we have. We don't want to benefit unnecessarily by the efforts of those. See, people work hard just to exist. And when they find themselves ill or lacking, when they look for aid in anyone's reasonable way of thinking, those who are promoting themselves as being in aid, and especially in dire need, then they should be providing what they're saying they're providing. Why waste the time of other human beings because you're interested in building yourself a wealth based on the foolishness of others? If you build wealth based on the foolishness of others, it is the revelation of your own foolishness. That's what you will be. You act a fool, you become the fool, you get the fool's reward. Foolishness is a fool's reward. Wisdom will be beneficial to those, all those we come in contact with. We will have something to give. And if everybody is in the mood of giving, where will there be lack? Everybody's giving, everybody will have everything we need. But the way the system is set up, you can prosper by doing harm to others. And that's not good. Especially when the most important aspects of the human experience, we would say emergency is when life is threatened, right? That's the most dire emergency. So health itself being threatened is life itself being threatened. Those people that dedicate themselves in their professions to the profession of helping people become healthy must become wise enough to seek out the results. When the label says this thing may cause you more serious problems than the one you were trying to solve to begin with, somebody has to start using some common sense and realizing we're not healing society's ills with our medicines. We're making drug addicts. And we're seeking to relieve pain where we should be seeking to find out what we are lacking and then provide that. And the way society is set up in the United States, we have access to practically speaking anything in the world. And you can find specifically statements made by the Supreme Person himself regarding any subject matter you want to deal with in your life or anybody else's life. So we can know what God wants for us. And we are saying the easiest way to know that is by chanting Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. But we are also saying, because we haven't known what it's like to be in the spiritual world for so long, to be reminded of that and to have that eternal experience again with the surety in our hearts of what that means. Then that's chanting. It takes 2 hours minimum a day to be able to get the effects necessary